check the audio real quick when you get a chance this one? Yeah. Just on this one. Check. Let's just make sure we have good audio. If someone could let us know how it's sounding, should be sounding pretty good. I know Ben's mic. You're gonna have to talk a little loud, Ben.
Check.
Micah, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, is that mine? Yeah, let me get that then. Modelo time, fool. It's Modelo time.
Check.
And it's also the Veve Bros time.
Episode what, 25?
I was actually looking over it, and technically this would be episode 24 and a half, but we're just gonna call it 25. We're gonna call it 25.
Fuck 24 and a half. It's 25. What up, everybody?
If you guys know about the hidden episode, then you know about the hidden episode. If you don't, then you don't.
If you don't, and if you know math and you know the calendar, next week will be pretty much half a year of fucking doing the Veve Bros podcast, week 26. So we're gonna do it big. We're gonna make it special. We're gonna slap each other with tortillas, talk shit extra next week. Next week's gonna be a good one.
Damn,
today.
Half a year. You've been rocking with us for half a year. We appreciate you guys. I know everyone tunes in at different times. The live is something different. We've been focusing on doing different content, premium digital dope. We put on a little bit of a pause just while we get equipment worked out and kind of get the show worked out. But yeah, man, it's been pretty crazy. Almost half a year doing this show, and we've seen Veve from its ups and its downs.
A roller coaster. Let's just say that. Let's say it as a, and I cannot hear myself very well, so it's really bad.
I'll turn you up right now. Can you hear Ben in the chat? Can someone let us know?
It's been a hell of a ride.
Check.
A lot of ups and downs. A lot of FUD and overcoming the FUD. A lot of bots and overcoming the bots. A lot of that shit. And this is where we're at. You're seeing shit at all-time lows right now with KYC coming, looming in the next few days.
I still have not KYC'd in. I still have not verified shit.
You see desperate people though in the market that are just selling to try to cash out so they could get out of it right now because they broke the rules, and that's what we're dealing with right now. What I would say though is once we get to that date. Once we get to August 1st, all of those listings will be removed. That has been promised. So you might see floors just rise. You might see floors shoot up.
Shouts out to Corey Hooper.
Shout out Corey. We might
see
the floors rise on a lot of items.
Wait, look, before we get
into too much of what's going on, let's just say what's up. Let's just say what's up to everyone. Shouts out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Veve Bros, episode number 25, Veve Bros podcast. And we had ourselves an interesting week, to say the least. We had SD Comic-Con. Lots of things dropped this week. Just to go through it, we finally got to 5 drops again, because I'm going to count the Spider-Man poster.
Yeah, I get it.
Even though it dropped that day, the same day we did last week, it dropped within this week. Which are some interesting things going on with that Spider-Man poster that we will get into. But yeah, we're gonna start there, man. There was 5 drops this week. We had the Spider-Man poster, the Chimichanga truck, we had House of M, the Tesseract, the Silver Surfer, which wrapped up the Comic-Con drops, and then we had Marvel Age Annual number 4, which is pretty much a filler type of comic that Veve gave us.
What a dope cover. Like,
it had a dope cover for sure, but it definitely was kind of like a filler. So yeah, man, we had those drops over the weekend. Let's just check in. How did we all do this past weekend with our Comic-Con drops? And let us know how you guys did in the comments.
I will start because I had the most success, and I hit every single drop except for House of M.
Spends most money.
No, I don't.
So you had the same amount of drops as us.
I literally only hit.
I hit all of them except Silver Surfer.
On drops, I have not bought aftermarket since May. I literally haven't. I've stuck to that, and I've stuck to my guns. It's hard because you see these prices, but I've stuck to that because you don't know when's the real low. You don't know what's gonna happen. We could predict. I was trolling these fools talking about Silver Surfer because I'm the only one out of us that hit. I was fucking around. But
let's go through that.
It's like some super grail or nothing. Like, it was fun though. It is cool to have. I'm not selling mine. Just because I minted it.
First and foremost, the San Diego Comic-Con drops, I think we're all dope. Like, from the poster to the Tesseract, the Chimichanga truck, There was a lot of excitement this past weekend, and although we couldn't be there, which I wish we could, I wish we would have just drove outside to get one of those logos and just catch David Yu and them slipping, right? But anyway, we'll talk about that. Even though we couldn't be there, I think everyone in the community, just speaking for myself, mainly, like, it felt good to be a part of it in that way. Like, it felt good to be like, hey, even though we can't be physically there, it's cool to be participating in these drops and to get these Comic-Con exclusives, because it kind of makes you feel like you're a part of it. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but
they were literally exclusive. So it wasn't like there was a super amount of editions on any of the drops. They were all limited.
The edition size was nice.
That was dope about it. I'm actually excited for what are they going to drop for New York Comic-Con. And I'm pretty sure New York is big. I don't know, because, like I said, we're new to this space.
Well, I mean, it's New York. We said New York. Everything's bigger in New York. Yeah, it's the big apple.
Exactly. And so last year, you do see that, like, Captain Carter was a New York Comic-Con drop. There's certain things that are already on the market.
What up, Ronnie? Shouts out to Ronnie in the chat.
That are in a New York Comic-Con drop, but I'm excited to see what they're going to do. They did 5 Days of Marvel for the San Diego drop. Who knows what they're going to do for the New York one? And now that they're giving those Veve signs out, which we will get into later. But when you're talking about buying one, the people who are willing to sell their Comic-Con tickets, like over a G or whatever, imagine you bought it and you went, and these things are selling for $5,000 in the market.
So for anyone who don't know out there, Veve and David Yu and the team, if you ran into them, apparently you got a card with a QR code that let you redeem this free Veve logo with gold, had gold lettering, and in the aftermarket of that was going for over $5,000, and I don't know, I saw some ridiculous prices, but that's what Ben was talking about right now. If you coughed up $1,000 plus, or even just held your tickets for Comic-Con for the last 2 years, as a Veve member, as a member of the community,
part of the community,
and then you get rewarded in this way. I mean, that's so awesome, man. I mean, we couldn't be there. I read some comments too, like on Reddit and even on the app, where like people were like a little salty, like, hey man, the United States, they get everything. Canadian, USA. Canadian users aren't getting this type of love and certain stuff like that, which I understand. I could understand that frustration, man. I'm in California. I couldn't be there. I wish I could have got one of those. You know what I mean?
Less than 2 hours away from that convention.
But I could imagine that no matter where they go, and there will be a day they do Canada and they do overseas in UK and stuff like that.
And they're gonna hook it up, man.
And they're gonna hook it up.
We went to
and we'll be right here jealous, like, man,
we
I
went
wish
to
I could
the
have been there.
Decon kickoff. They had the free trucks, and they even had the Deadpool chimichanga truck pull up at Comic-Con.
Yeah,
which is a real one. They're serving food, free food.
And Disney promoted that.
It was free.
Disney shared it on their socials, saying, hey, if you're at Comic-Con, come check out Deadpool's chimichangas, which was crazy. And then it corresponds with the app. So who knows? We may see that chimichanga truck in Deadpool 3. We may see it in some other reference and some Easter eggs. But we got one. I hit on that drop.
Yeah, I got it too.
And even now, I think it's pretty undervalued.
I got a triple digit.
The Tesseract is obviously undervalued, which we're going to get into.
We got a lot to discuss this week.
But yeah, man, I think
of all the drops
overall with Comic-Con, the takeaway I'll take from it, is seeing that Marvel sign and then seeing that Veve sign
side by side.
Yeah, I feel like that can't be overstated, right? Like, that's a big deal,
like when
man.
That's like when your chick finally posts you on Instagram. And she's like, yeah, I got a boyfriend, sure, never see him. Then she posts you and you're like, oh, babe, you put me on your page. Thanks. And a bunch of people follow, fuck yeah, bitch, I don't want it no more. But still, that shit is what happened. You got the stamp. It's like, yeah, Marvel, sure, Marvel gives you their stuff. No, it's like, we are the official partners of Marvel's digital collectibles. And it's like, boom, baby.
Premium.
Boom,
and they do emphasize the premium. That's what I love. I love that the premium
digital dope, baby.
Just like the name of this show, premium digital dope. They do emphasize that because there is a fucking difference between these NFTs and anything. And last week we were talking about Recur and how they dropped and how it had some success. And this week, if you look at how it's doing, I haven't seen it myself, but I do notice on Twitter that they've calmed down. They haven't been up there showing all these screenshots of
Wow.
OpenSea.
What's
and they're
crazy
not showing
is
anything. But this
the
dude follows it,
Nickelodeon, that dropped last week actually went down 85% in one day. So you talk about a dump, right? Like those Nickelodeon NFTs on OpenSea got absolutely destroyed. And the reason, as I was like kind of looking more into it, the rationale around that is that there's more on the way, and that Rugrats wasn't the best one. You know, you got Care Bears, you got Hello Kitty, yeah. But even then, like you compare Hey Arnold, he's, you know, that's cool, it's nostalgic, but it's definitely not at the same weight as like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You don't see no Hey Arnold shirts when you walk around as much as you see TMNT.
Rugrats here and there, you know? They're a big, like, that's a big IP, but obviously it's not as big as, say, you know, like I think like Teenage Mutant Turtles is one of the big ones, and Hello Kitty is one of the, you know, I think it's the second or third biggest IP in the world.
Wait, but let's finish running through the drops real quick, and then how went or whatever with the house. Well, I mean, just skim over real quick because I'm cool with that, because the other one's House of M. We
all hit. I don't know how everyone else. Let us know how you guys did in the chat, but we all hit. The only one me and Cisco didn't hit was Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
Ben hit that one. I thought I got in. I timed it out perfect, and it was like one of those old school psych outs. Like,
well, we gotta talk about
retrieving
the Tesseract pump.
Oh yeah, all that's on the list. All that's on the list. I have it here in the. I sent it to you guys.
The Spider-Man one too. Then.
But yeah, I mean, Ben hitting that one, we're pretty salty. He's saying it's a grail. And then it pumped. Hold on. Then it pumped to 190, 195. Let me say it knocked, or it was up there.
We were only salty.
Whatever it was.
We were only salty because we both felt like we were fucking fast on the draw. Like I pressed that shit fast, like buying up from the 0-0. You know, like I felt like, oh, I'm good, and it didn't go through. And then Fee-Fi-Fo Fum over here fucking says, I got one.
No. What's funny is that I knew when he didn't reply, because we have a group text, that he hit, because he had told me he hasn't even been uploading the gems. He's been waiting till he hits the bite and all that, because, you know, you're not trying to spend as much money, yada yada. So I knew, he even said I might not even go for Silver Surfer because I don't have the $60. Then when we went into the group chat, I'm like, I missed it. Cisco's like, I missed it instantly. He was quiet, and I was like, man, fuck you, dude.
Said,
I know,
fuck you
hit. Yeah, I'm like, I know you hit.
Said, fuck you, Ben. And then I was like, yeah, I fucking hit. I fucking got it, and I was pumped up.
But it is, I'm not gonna lie, it's an awesome collectible. Silver Surfer kind of suffers from the time we're in, where, you know, in another time he would have pumped even crazier. We all know this, but you know, now when you're looking side to side, you look to your left, to your right, you have to really say, like, is Silver Surfer at 180, 190? Is it as valuable as a season 1 Spider-Man right now?
No.
Or like, is it as valuable as even like Darth Vader? Like, there's a lot of factors. Don't get me wrong. But is it up there? It's a stretch. It's a reach.
And I understand that. And one of my examples.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So one of my examples on that is that this is the first villain, or if you want to say anti-hero, that's not a Marvel Mighty on the app. From Marvel. This is the first villain that they've ever dropped that's not a Marvel Mighty. So that should carry weight alone. The edition size should carry weight alone. Yeah. But I'm not trying to call it a grail like that. I was just trying to fuck with these fools. No, it is. It's the truth. But you want to say, whether you want to say anti-hero or villain, he falls into both categories. The Silver Surfer does.
But I want to say too about it.
No, but wait. Let me just finish it.
Okay.
Let me just.
Right. He's giving the reason why it's a grail or why it's up there.
No, not a grail.
No,
I don't.
He literally said a grail the whole time.
With you. Yes, because you guys were mad you didn't hit, so of course I have fun with it. I don't believe that. Like,
you sent us a picture of his balls like 3 times. So I think that's what you're playing with the most.
That shit was hilarious. It was. I seen it on Twitter and I was like, dude, this is fucking hilarious. This is what people are posting up. They were posting up Silver Surfer.
Yeah, they gotta find something. They're trying to find.
Okay. So besides that,
anyways, so when I go into, like, let's say the Labbits, the one that has the rainbow mouth, which he spoke about, that was animated or whatever. All right, in that series, I started looking at them because they're very cheap right now. That whole series,
the season 1 Labbits,
the ultra rare,
still holding mad weight.
Ultra rare is actually worth so much more. I don't know the X than the secret rare. The secret rare has 3,000 something. It's that one who's smoking the cigarette. I forget what it's called, Hooverville or something like that. Hooverville Labbit. That one is only going for like $50. It's a cheap ass secret rare. You guys should go look into it. Like maybe 60 gems, 70.
So what's that do with Silver Surfer?
No, hold on. That's why I'm getting into it. So the ultra rare only has 800, and that Labbit on the ultra rare is worth like 560 gems.
So you're speaking scarcity.
Even right now. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it matters. The scarcity of it.
How much does Silver Surfer have?
Factor into it. I actually seen a few ultra rares, which because I just went to the market, put the ultra rares, not for this point, but it's just what I've noticed over the last few days. Even like Dr. Plutonium from Powder Puff Girls, he's worth like 3-4 G's or some shit like that. But there's a lot of ultra rares.
You're actually mistaken. There's no secret rare on the lab at season 1. It's just an ultra
it's not
rare.
season 1. You said season 1. It's season 2, I believe.
Oh.
It's season 2.
All right, but let me say this about fucking Silver Surfer.
Wrap it up. Man. Come on.
I'll wrap it up. My whole point is ultra rares can outpace a secret rare just based off the scarcity, depending on what they do, even within the same set. That Labbit might have been an airdrop. It might have been like if you have the whole thing that will airdrop it to you. Or I don't know, because why would they put 3,000?
Yeah, but Silver Surfer's rare.
No, I
get
get that.
What are you talking about though?
Yeah. So look, compare him that one.
The white backs there?
The Jason one. Look at the
white
edition size. Yeah. Look at the edition.
It's $600.
Look at
the edition size is only 888.
Now go to the secret rare.
The secret rare has more editions.
Now go to the
but Labbits is the same as Marvel.
No, I'm not saying that.
$67.
I'm talking about relativity to the market with
there's 3,000
with editions.
So for some reason, the secret rare, I don't know the history on that thing. I'd have to research it. Maybe I talk about it on our premium digital dope.
And what does that have to do with Silver Surfer?
I hear your point, but I don't see how it applies to this.
So how many Todds are there? How many season 1 Spider-Man?
Okay, I get that.
How many?
My whole thing with Silver Surfer is this: the reason why I didn't care.
That's what I'm saying.
The reason why I didn't FOMO in,
that is all.
Because yes, Ben was yanking our chain the whole fucking weekend. Okay, now we know. But the whole fucking weekend, he was sticking to it like, I'll suck. This was ball sack.
They were mad. They were
right. No, listen. Hey, let me finish. I let you talk.
I know.
Shut the fuck up then. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, we weren't happy.
Please.
Okay.
There, that's all my point.
Shut the fuck up.
You guys weren't happy.
Please. Shut the fuck up.
I was happy when Cisco hit.
All right, so listen. I was happy you got Silver Surfer. I said that's dope. But anyways, he told us at 140 gems, you fools better get it now before you lose your opportunity. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I know it's gonna go down regardless. I do want it. It's a dope piece. But the whole thing with Silver Surfer, the reason why I didn't even care when they announced it like as much is because nobody really has been talking about, when are they dropping Silver Surfer? You know, when there's like this little buildup of anticipation, what I've noticed is that the whole market is like pumped because people are like, yeah, we were right, and that like now I want one because not only were we right, but I want to be a part of the group who was right, like right twice, you know, like. And we didn't have that with Silver Surfer. So you see it for New York Comic Con. It's like, yeah, when we get one that people, when they drop the Wolverine, when we get one, like they drop.
Also because if you pump up the app, you want to show results. So like, I haven't ran into you in a while, and you're like, why are you so big on this app? And you're like, bro, we're gonna get the first Vader on the blockchain. Oh yeah, well when? And then you're like, hey dude, it finally dropped. Do you got one? You almost have to have one when you've been pumping it up like that. And it's true. No one really pumped.
And then what do they do? And what
but I have heard a few inklings of it because to an old school collector or old school head, they know what's up.
But same with Sue Storm. Do they know that she's one of the OG chicks? Like she's the dopest, one of the dopest ones.
As I told Ben, hold on.
Comparing Silver Surfer to Sue Storm.
Hold on, Ben. Look. And
what I'm saying. I'm saying about.
And also like anything that's silver or gold. All silver, all gold, from golden moments to any of the other items. You can look at Dragon Girl, that one, the ultra rare, whatever, the rare. They have two of them that are pure silver and another one with gold. You have the Gorillas on there, one of the other decon ones. There's a gold one, there's a silver. There's always a premium on just
Ghostbuster shit.
And it just so happens that this character is the Silver Surfer. So even if you don't know anything about anything, you could be from another planet, but if they show you this character and he's shiny and silver, you're going to associate value with that and importance. That's just what it is. I kind of felt like that's what it was.
OG Devil Bunny gold is the cheapest gold fucking thing. I think it's below 60.
Okay, but that's not here nor there.
But I'm just saying, if you guys want to go.
No, so what they do right after? Why would they drop Boba Fett right after Comic-Con? It's like. Not like
why would they do it before KYC is mandatory? They're almost giving the bots like one last hoorah. How do you guys feel about that out there in the messenger? Let us know in the chat.
Bot accounts, though. It's not the bots. The bots are out. It's bot accounts. So those accounts.
How are the bots out?
Because you can't use them anymore. You can't use them.
I'm almost sure they have.
If you use them, you're getting caught. Those fools are able to tell now. That's
Gotcha,
what they
buddy.
did. That's how they cleaned it up.
Gotcha.
But the bot accounts, you're still
Oh yeah, you're right.
able to
July
go-
30th, 11.
You're still able to go
so
for a new
31st
drop.
is the official
You
day.
can't buy in the market. You
Is the
can't sell
deadline?
in the market.
31st, yeah, that on 12/01
But
on 31st.
You
Is
can
you
still
have to
go for a
KYC?
new drop.
If you're not KYC,
And
dude,
that's
you're out.
what
And when
he's
does
talking about.
Oh,
So
it drops-
after
yeah, it drops
31st, you will not be able to go for that if you're a bot account. It's the account. It's not the bots exactly. It's
And
the
also,
account
wait,
that
another
they
thing with the
use.
drop is at what time? The
We'll
drop
get
is at
into
8.
that.
The
But
drop
the
is
whole
at 8.
point, the whole point
to
of
get
this,
those-
hold on
those
though, Ben,
things.
before we run off too much. The whole
Let's
point
talk
of
to-
this was talking about Silver Surfer and about his grail status and this and that, right? And obviously the minute that they, announced Boba Fett, Silver Surfer went under $100
Silver
real
Surfer
quick.
is dope.
Yeah. And he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But
He is.
again, in a market like this where you have so many great items
He's
that
too
are
new.
dirt cheap, yeah, like you have to exchange hands and new people have to buy in at certain prices that they want before they're like, yo, I'm not willing to sell this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was gonna suffer from that no matter what.
Obviously.
It was cool to
Brand
see the
new.
hype around
Brand
it because it was a badass
Real-
collectible. I look at it and I'm still like, dude, you don't have to tell anyone anything. You just have this and it looks badass. Like
And the potential of it, the way they say Marvel's trying to fix that whole debacle with Fantastic Four and all that. So now think of it in the new light of how it's going to be in the how he'll be in the MCU rather than how he's portrayed before. But either way, if the bots were to get that the Boba Fett drop, that's at 8 a.m. They have till 11:59 p.m. to sell that shit because they're not going to be able to. If they don't
still
KYC
pretty
in,
crazy.
they're locked out. No, so they're
so
either going to lock up a lot of
wake up.
collectibles
Like,
or
I
cause
wonder
a
why
fire
Veve-
sale.
This is
why
the
Veve
point,
was
though.
so-
This is the point I'm saying.
was so like
If you have
willing
a
to do
bot
that.
account, if you have a bot account that your shit's been X'd out from the market, you can go for the drop, but you can't sell regardless. So let's say you already been caught with a bot and you go for that drop at 8 a.m. and you hit the top rarity.
I'm talking about KYC
No,
though.
that's why. That's what I'm saying. It ties into it. So let's say though that you hit the top rarity, whether it's a secret or ultra rare, the way they did it with Vader. If you hit that ultra rare, you cannot sell before that time. He's saying if your account is already listed under those bot accounts, you're not going to be able to use the market. You can fucking go for a new drop,
But
that-
okay, hold
you
on,
can't
Ben.
do
Okay,
anything past
but
that.
if someone is still operating a bot farm or they think of clever ways, right? You can still right now make a new account with no one checking on you for a little bit amount of time further. But
Time out.
that's the point.
But
If
what
someone
happened
with a bot
Vader?
account,
That's my point. So what happened with Vader?
so are you gonna
I
say
was
bots
able to
didn't
get-
hit Vader?
No, I was able to get two. That shit that wasn't an instant sellout. We've seen variants that have way more additions that sell out in 1 second.
Yeah, but a
And
lot of
we were
people
not
blew their
able
whole
to do
wad
it.
on lightsabers
No,
and
I'm
on
just saying
different
I think
things,
the
like-
bots are done. I'm not on the same page as them on the bots. I literally think those accounts have a few days
Well,
left,
you know what?
and they're gonna.
That's
try
cool.
To,
That's
they're
cool,
gonna
but we
try
don't
to
have
do
the
whatever.
numbers. We don't have the numbers to
Yeah,
back it up.
Exactly.
It's just his feeling and it's my feeling. I cannot.
We just have
I
different feelings on
refuse
that.
even to believe that even with KYC, even with all the precautions, there'll still be bots. There'll still be people doing illegal shit. You just can't stop people from doing it. And although you can try your hardest to make it harder for them, where you discourage most people,
So you got
you're still going to have people who beat the system.
True.
That just comes with
True.
any system you put in. People escape from maximum.
But
we're still gonna
hold on.
complain.
People escape
Yeah.
from maximum prisons, bro. Like they
Yeah,
figure out
true.
a way,
That's a
right?
whole nother shit,
So
though.
Prison
like
break.
to
So
say
look-
there's no bots ever. No, there's always are.
No,
Now
no,
we
I'm not
may
saying
we
that,
may
though.
differ on
I'm not
how
saying that.
who's getting more of them. Who knows? I think sometimes, like even this weekend with the Comic-Con drops, if you were a new user and you didn't know about timing or about where the buy now pops up, say another drops too. I go,
Yeah.
oh, this one was
Yeah.
simpler. But if you're just a new user and you're just coming in like, hey, I just got to be ready. Let me hit buy now. You probably got smoked this weekend by experienced
limited
users like
edition
us.
and
And
limited
also, I
editions.
do believe like,
The
no,
editions.
there's still a good amount of buy. They're not running rampant like before. No, absolutely not. We're getting more drops.
Trip out,
But
though.
But if there's a community of only 5,000 to 10,000 people
I think it's
right
more
now
than that now.
actively
I
buying,
think it's more than that now.
okay, all right, we'll give it 15,
No,
whatever
I
it may
think
be.
more. I think more than that.
I don't
I
agree.
personally do
Simply
because
don't.
of how the shits go. But one thing I will say though is I've noticed one of the bot heavy drops was those cards, the women, the Frida Kahlo and all those.
Right.
Frida Kahlo is going for 100 gems right now, 115.
The Rewind collected.
The Rewind. There we go. That was a bot ran drop. Like they killed it on that one. So I see desperation in them for it being so low, because there's a bunch of listings that are under that. It's not like it's
because they have to sell or lose it.
So exactly now. So I don't think they do have it under control, because I feel there's panic sales right now. They're trying to accumulate as many gems as they can so they could just cash out on that day that they could cash out.
Or at the very least, get, like you're saying, get these drops, the rare ones, sell them, get the money on the account big enough, right? Where they're just at least creating a problem for Veve and disrupting enough. Because at this point too, if you're kind of someone who's like, yo, I know I can't get away with this anymore. Here goes my last hoorah. I'll just list what I can this week. I'm going to go hard as hell for Boba Fett. And then I'm just going to be like, yo, you ban me, I can't sell, whatever, or I'll figure out another way. Because there are ways to do fake KYCs. There are. It's a lot more trouble. Yeah. You have to go get you a legit fake identity,
or
but
someone who's not into Veve that don't mind that you're using.
Yeah, but there are ways and loopholes around it. So no, like, trust, there are going to be bots, there are going to be things like that. And I do think with Boba Fett, we may see that last hoorah this weekend. Things sold out really fast.
Do you really think there will be more bots than Vader, given all the hype Vader had? Like, we did not expect Boba Fett right now. Not on this day.
Dude, but I think you can say this. I think you can say this though, Ben. Let me say this though. The sentiment now, just normal users, is higher than before Vader, before the Star Wars week. We're riding the wave of Star Wars and now riding a Comic-Con week. We have people more engaged, and you could just see it on the social feed, on the app, and just with everything else. There's a lot to talk about right now. It's really interesting. On top of that, you have crypto kind of moving up. You have stocks moving up. You had, just sentiment seems to be a little more up, where people might be willing to take more risk right now. So I think the turnout for Boba Fett, hold on. The turnout for Boba Fett is about to be bigger than the turnout for Vader. Like,
it will.
I think it will.
And not only that, also too, like, when it comes to this drop, and this is the other part about how you said, Mick, you're like, just don't understand why they'll do it now. But it's like all these drops have been scheduled, right? And whether it's at the beginning of the quarter, end of the quarter, how they do it, or the beginning of the month, end of the month, however they word it, like, to when they're going to drop these. Boba Fett is dropping at the end of July, going into August, which is going to be a Spider-Man month, heavy. They might get the Miles Morales in then. And then also, August, September, like all other things that are leading up into Marvel's releases. They drop so many trailers and let you know about so many movies.
We can pretty much bank that we're gonna get heavy Marvel, and now with Boba Fett, we're probably gonna get heavy Boba Fett.
So it's now,
and I saw Kobe collects on I think My Collectibles stream earlier today. It was funny because I was on Randy Chavez's stream and Boba Fett got announced, and he's just talking, and he's not reading the comments, and everyone's like, Boba Fett. And the same thing happened with My Collectibles. So Kobe Collects was on there again. I don't know if you guys know Kobe Collects, but he's pretty credible source. He's in the mix, right? He said Yoda's coming next week. Yoda's coming next week, and it's confirmed. And I was just like, oh, how do you know that? I didn't really look into it, but I'm like, if he's saying it, and then it kind of drives the hype. Like, oh shit, if we're about to get a bunch of Star Wars stuff, like Lucasfilms has like
what Underworld was. What's the name of the series? The Underworld something.
Yeah,
for Boba Fett. So then here comes, the Force.
Boba Fett,
the Force edition,
fucking Yoda. That's just the truth. Yoda is not as big as Boba Fett. Like, that's just the hype behind it is.
I wouldn't say that. I think Yoda's a bigger character than Boba Fett.
I do not.
I think in the toy world and in the collector's world, Boba Fett holds a certain mysticism because there's a Boba Fett. Hold on, there's a Boba Fett toy, right? It was a prototype, never fully came out. And to this day, I think it might hold the record for the highest sale for just one single toy. It was like 300 grand or 400 grand, for that one piece. So like that story gets told. Even I know that story just from reading comments. And I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I love the movies. I keep up, but I'm definitely not a Star Wars collector or anything, right? I'm a casual fan, and I know that story. And people applied that story before we got Vader. People thought we would get Boba Fett before Vader, which is what's crazy. They were all predicted it.
They wanted.
No. I mean, Boba besides Fett if they wanted or whatever, but like that was
the sentiment though. that people
but
wanted.
for
Boba
your
Fett
point, if
because
you're gonna
it was-
say
it was
Corey
Boba
Wilford
Fett's-
says Yoda's bigger than Boba Fett.
yeah.
And Ronnie asked, "What's our price prediction
I
for
don't
the
think
Boba
so.
Fett?"
So price
don't think
prediction wise, and I saw that, Ronnie. Personally, I kind of hate price predictions because they're like kind of bullshit. You just never know.
$80,
But I would
80.
say like it's probably going to be a
It should
listing
be
price
same
of
as
around
Vader.
80. Like
Same as
we
Vader.
have to compare to Vader, right?
Yeah, 60 to 80.
They
And
said 3 variants.
is it
same
as
Vader.
big as Vader? Probably not. I would say absolutely not. Boba
But
Fett is nowhere near
new
Vader,
fans
right?
love Boba Fett
But like
too,
I said,
Hold on.
Boba Fett has this mysticism for the toy, for the
What's
collectible,
his
and they
animation
hold on,
as
hold on,
well?
and they made it look like that OG character and that OG toy, which isn't dumb, right?
Mhm.
They didn't do the modern Boba Fett all shined up. They're doing like that old school Boba Fett look, right? The only one we could compare it to is Vader. Vader is for sure bigger, but the recency bias, you see it with Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer outpaced Vader for a few days as far as the common goes, right? And I even asked, I was like, I understand the edition size, but just pure popularity, is Silver Surfer anywhere near Vader? Hell no. But he was more expensive for a little while, and I think Boba Fett might prove to do the same thing. And I think it might take, let me know what you think about this, but I think it might take some market cap from Vader, right? Because
I think it has to naturally, but there's people who
we
are
might
holding
see
multiple
Vader
Vaders,
ultra rare
There's
move
so
into that
many people
1.5K,
who like-
bro.
who have multiples, though.
I
who
think
like
that
Darth
1.5K,
Vader,
but
and I do
okay,
believe that.
what do you think? Common Boba Fett right now, floor price, let's just say 3 days after drop, not the highest it gets, but where do you think it settles?
I think like at 110,
Common,
like Vader.
what do you think? Common Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around the low 100 because the fact that whenever it touches 95 or 90, it's going to get snagged up. Like that's the type of item that will get
Common
cleaned
Vader
up.
has held pretty nice at 130, 170
Yeah, no,
range
it's gone under, though.
recently.
It's gone to 110 shit. Like after the drop, after it too was affected by the gem squeeze. Every item was.
The truth, I think, is going to be
honestly, even Walt was affected by the gem squeeze. You saw it lose G's, and those big grails.
But just wait till
they lose way more when you really want to break it down. The percentage wise that they lose a lot more.
wait till someone makes that
But-
Twitter post for like the
No.
TikTok about how Boba Fett's like how you said the story
No,
of
they
it,
always do.
and then
They
it's going
always
to be
do.
like, oh, that's
That's
going
what
to be the
happened.
deciding
That's
factor.
what happened when Winnie the Pooh.
believe-
That's gonna be
We
the
did the
deciding
video on
factor.
Winnie the Pooh.
that
This is the
Star
fourth biggest
Wars
IP,
has
and now look at Winnie the Pooh's at 120, and it topped at
Look.
675.
This is what I believe.
So
I believe Boba Fett is the gangster from Star Wars, and fools love the gangster.
but
They
all
love
that,
him,
all,
and there's never
who's more gangster than Darth Vader?
I talked
Darth
about
Vader's
this.
more
I don't-
gangster
no,
than Boba Fett.
Wait up. So I spoke on this weeks ago. How
Anakin
one dude was
murdered little
talking about-
kids.
No,
No,
but hold on.
he slayed all
that
of them.
one dude was talking
Padawans.
about what is the fucking, like, he had never seen Star Wars, right? And he was like, what is the lore behind Boba Fett? When he comes out in the movies, Luke Skywalker takes him out like nothing. It's not even a battle.
Yeah,
He
he's
just, like,
garbage.
blasts his jetpack, and this fool flies off and
Yeah.
fucking dies and gets eaten by that worm monster. So he's had his fan base based off that. When you talk about Vader,
Yeah,
they
but
give him
Star
those
Wars
iconic
fans
shit.
are fans of
Yeah.
just like
Well, true,
a
but that's
drink,
why I'm saying
blue milk.
Imagine
They'll go
if
crazy.
if he's pumped off of that. But what people don't factor in is there's books. There are books of
The
Star
book
Wars.
of Boba
and
Fett.
people fucking read them.
Okay,
I've read a
let's
Star
reel it
Wars
in, man.
book when
Let's
I
reel
was
it in.
middle school.
Let's reel it in.
And it was about Boba Fett. It was
So,
about him. And it was
obviously,
a pretty dope book.
Boba Fett, we're seeing a huge squeeze, and now no one's even talking about the fact that we could get Amazing Fantasy as early as this Monday, because August 1st is Spider-Man Day. Hold on, and it's the first day you have to be KYC'd. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the market reacts if we have the day before Boba Fett and they announce Spider-Man. Oh my God, you could see floors
Which
that
would
will
shock
shock you, right?
No, and they're gonna have the
does
accounts that are being blocked. That are like, I
He
shouldn't be
does
blocked,
that
I
though. They
shouldn't be
give you a
blocked.
big
Like-
drop before a big drop to make you waste your money on that drop that you thought was big.
They are
And
pretty
then
notorious. for that.
They trump it, and it's like, fuck, I shouldn't have went for that
So-
drop before. I should have waited for this one, and they did it to us.
Moving on.
That's how it goes.
Moving on, that was the Comic-Con, and obviously we have Boba Fett on the way, which is really exciting. Moving on to another subject this week, and another thing we saw this week was the revenge of the Eye of Agamotto. Now, let me set it up. Let's all think back to Eye of Agamotto. How upset people were about that
What you called it. What you
price
called it back
point,
then. You
about that
remember.
price point, and about even the mint amount, about it just doesn't look good. You can't take it off the mantle. Everything was nitpicked. Hold on.
Said literally word for word. Go keep on. No, is that you said Veve had egg? No, because I want to keep in context for the show. He said during that week when it dropped that Veve had egg on their face for that drop. That it was a whack drop. It was embarrassing. It was horrible for what Veve is.
So I was setting up this question before you talk. If you would let me set it up and just like shut up for a second.
So we keep shit.
I was setting it up.
You weren't gonna say that.
I have it all written down right here. The Revenge of Eye of Agamotto. The pump. Once Veve community realized how important that drop actually became, which is something we talked about. When Eye of Agamotto first dropped on this show, you can go look it back. It was egg on the face. And look, let's not front. They dropped the Tesseract for $30. And I even asked my brothers, where does that price point come from? How do you go from $70 for the time stone to $30 for the space stone? It makes no sense. And I get it. You have the opportunity to get a secret rare, which has an animation, but on the Eye of Agamotto. So you're paying a little bit more for the chance to get it, right? But the $30 to me seemed like hey guys, you guys are so mad about $70. We're not even gonna price this at 40. We're gonna take it $10 lower than most of the stuff that where it probably should be, right? Just so you guys are like, hey, here's a steal of a deal at $30, right? And anyway, once people in the community put it together, the Tesseract's here, we got the space stone. We already have the Eye of Agamotto, which holds the time stone. And then the fact that they've been hinting at the gauntlet, what happened with the Eye of Agamotto? It pumped like a motherfucker, which was the setup. What were your thoughts on seeing that pump? And y'all in the comment section, Ronnie and Corey, did you guys have that item already? Did you guys stack at all? Because for anyone who stacked the rare, let's just look at this. On Monday, the rare was going for $15, $15 to $17 for the rare Eye of Agamotto. By Saturday, just 5 short days later, it was going for $75-$80. Now, if you were someone who stacked that, right, instead of going for all these drops recently, you said, I'm going to spend $150 and buy me 10 Eye of Agamottos.
Then I'd say you're a fucking liar.
Right? So what was your reaction when you saw that pump? And do you think it's warranted? And what are your thoughts for the rest of the Infinity Stones as they get rolled out?
Before you jump in, Ben,
when you
had texted me about it and I saw that shit going in, it was just people saw the Infinity Gauntlet at Comic-Con and they were like, oh, there it is. You need to have all the stones. What if you get an airdrop? That's the one I saw. What if you get an airdrop of the Infinity Gauntlet because you have all the stones and that's the only way to get it, right? And when Mick first sent it to me, I saw it, I was like, that's cool. And I saw the pump and I was like, damn. And I felt like, yeah, if I would have stacked this, if I would have done that, cool. What should I do? He's like, what do you think? I got one for 30. I'm trying to get another one, but it was low sniping wasn't happening this weekend. It wasn't. I was trying and they were just being bought up the lower ones on the drops after the drops.
Not Eye of Agamotto.
But no, not Eye of Agamotto. I'm saying the Tesseract on any of them. Like it was tough to snipe one this weekend for sure. And I told this fool, nah, it'll come back down. And I didn't even hit. I have the comment of the Eye of Agamotto. I didn't hit the rare. I didn't get the freaking secret rare. So it's like, all right, or the ultra, whatever one it was. And yeah, I'm not worried about this pump. It makes sense because people pumped it up, but then people will forget again. And you have to explain to them, like, no, trust me, it's a long game. It's like, man, I'll get that shit later. Then you have an opportunity still. Like, there will be other opportunities for it for sure. Okay. That's why I didn't jump in like that.
So to put it in context, what he's talking about is that someone put together that the rare and the secret rare of Eye of Agamotto, the edition size equals the same of the Tesseract. So there's the same amount, at least for the first two drops of the first two Infinity Stones on the app. There's the same amount of editions. The uncommon, which was the closed eye,
that makes me believe it way more.
That one kind of wasn't incorporated because it's closed. You can't see the Infinity Stone. But on the rare, if you add,
I bought that one. I didn't buy the rare.
It equals the same of Tesseract. So that was a great point. Someone pointed out, like on Twitter. I seen it. I have 3 Tesseracts because I want to hold on to those. Because if there's only that limited edition, maybe it doesn't pan out, but for $30 and then it goes under retail, that's a safe bet you can do. It's
plus,
not really you
plus
betting the
someone
bank.
else will need to get it
seeing-
from you.
Plus, seeing how much it pumped, you can almost make a pretty sure bet that the floor of the Eye of Agamotto rare will probably be where the Tesseract pumps to, meaning the bare minimum to get in on the Infinity Club, right? Or the Gauntlet Club. Like, what do you need to get on the
No, I
Gauntlet
remember
Club?
this, dude. Look, when
Why
it
you
comes to
need at
that,
least
when
a
it comes
rare?
to that and cornering the market, any of these, if you see the Tesseract drop so low, you want to sack them, because if that's the case, right? Let's say 3,000 and 3,000 is making up to a solid number, right? Then if you have a Tesseract, you have 5 of them. Be like, hey, there's 5 of you motherfuckers out there who can't get the Infinity Gauntlet without buying my Tesseracts. You know, like you don't have to have all of them to hold some stake, because like in the movie, they're trying to get each and every one of them. They're just as important. You know, so like that does play a big factor too, as far as like picking and choosing which one to stack.
I don't know what your name was that shouted that out on Twitter, but it was a great point to fucking point out about the rare and the secret rare.
Right, doing that at
really good. It was really good, and it was like a
plus
it
wasn't as if
I think
it pumped.
I'm with you, Ron. You talk about that right now.
Double price, triple price, like it 4x. The rare 4x. The secret rare went from $100 to $500.
Yeah.
4x. It went to 480.
Yeah,
Something like that, right?
almost.
It was $100 on Monday, which Monday was our last local bottom. So another interesting thing to kind of segue, I guess, real quick, and we'll touch back on Eye of Agamotto. But one thing I noticed that was really interesting, and I was telling my bros, is Monday was our super low, right? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we had these crazy buy-ups of gems. And some floors started getting kind of swept up on the Marvel side. And we had a lot of hype leading into Comic-Con. And now you look at it, and from where I could see, because we're almost back to where we started on Monday, is whales move very, very strategically, right? They figured a lot of people were about to start loading up on these Marvel items. So they went and bought more gems to pump everyone up, started buying items to raise these floors, and pretty much ran into Comic-Con. And anyone who was on the hype, such as the Eye of Agamotto hype, they made a lot of money this weekend off of, obviously us, we're not whales. We can't make those type of moves, but it's at least interesting to take a note and say, hey, this is what's going on. So you don't FOMO into anything and you just kind of like know what's going on. So one day we'll be a whale. Hopefully.
On to that. I believe don't buy shit right now that you see in the market until Sunday, or Monday fucking the 31st, or is it Sunday's the 31st? Whenever the 31st is, that's when you should probably buy, because they're gonna get desperate as it gets to that.
No, that's it. 31st is done, isn't it? It's at the end of
it's. Oh, is it the 30th?
The 30th.
You have
KYC is
until the 31st. So
31st,
as soon as
that was the end of the month. So that's why I believe they'll get desperate. The people that are already fucking in trouble, or they can't do the KYC, they just can't because they have multiple accounts. I believe they will get desperate to try to sell it and try to do everything that they can. So I think all the snipers out there, that's your day to get your fucking gun ready.
But if you're smart, if they're smart, dude, and they have 3 accounts, let's say I have 3 accounts and I had bots and stuff. You know what I would do? I have a whole collection. I have Vaders on each of them. I have all this stuff. I would post it for a higher price than anyone else, and then go buy it myself with the account that I want it to be in. But then all those gems are stuck, and you just get those gems out after you paid yourself. You have to put your own money up. But think about it. If everything's going for 100, I post for 500, then I go buy it for myself for 500. Now I switch it to account I wanted.
To use gems you have.
So yeah, but I switched it to account I wanted. Now I could cash out the other one.
You have a fool like Mickey who uses listing date.
But yeah, that's my point. But either way, if it's not a good price, they're not gonna buy it. Just put it at a bad price, buy it yourself.
Then you have to have that collateral.
There it is, Mick. That's how you get your money.
I'll tell you this much. Look,
that's how you get your money out of your bot farm.
Sunday, what the listings I saw, and I told Ben this, all the people listing on Sunday, middle of Comic-Con and in the night, were whales and OGs. Weren't a lot of normal or just join the app type people, because I check who's flooring these right now, and they were flooring them.
Some bots too. Have you seen
at what looked like, oh, why are they selling? But they're all doing it at local highs. This weekend gave us some local highs, and we had some crazy pumps on stuff. We had Mighty Marvels pump really nice, a lot of them, right? Especially the old school ones, the Steve Rogers and the Spider-Mans and the popular ones. They went up a little, right? We had Spider-Man season 1 pump. I bought mine on Monday night, the common and the uncommon, season 1. I finally picked one up, so that's been on my list. I picked one up for 136.
The uncommon.
for the uncommon, the hanging out, 136 on the market, and it pumped to like almost 200 this weekend. Thought about flipping it because it doesn't have a great mint, and I was like, then I can pick up a lower mint, but I didn't. I just held. But the point is, the people I noticed that were listing on Sunday night were kind of more, established, experienced Veve users who understood, hey, we just had a nice pump this weekend. I can sell at this local top and buy back in 40, 50, 60 gems cheaper for a lot of the ultra rares and even secret rare stuff, right? For the common and stuff, there's not going to be much of a difference, but some of it is still pretty good. Some of it is a nice, like, what did I do? I did Black Panther. I wish I would have picked it up on Monday. Black Panther ultra rare was going for like $91 on Monday. By Tuesday, Wednesday, it was up to like 105, 107. I picked it up at like 110. I listed it at 130. I was like, I'll take my little 18, 19 gem come up just to see if I'm right about this. The minute the trailer broke, it pumped to 150. And I was like, if you don't think whales are thinking this way and they're going and loading up and sweeping these floors and then relisting, just go look at some of the accounts that are listing when they're at that relative top, when things are pumping. It ain't like a normal person. The normal person's driving, buying at that time,
On that point, though, like, one of the things that he always tells me to do is flip. But when I'm hitting on these drops, I'm getting one. You get me? Like, I'm not getting multiple. Most of these whales got multiples of all the grails. They get a lot of them, even in the after.
And I'm going to tell you guys what I tell him, that maybe you guys will understand, because he's been very lucky on the drops lately with ultra rares and secret rares. Yeah. And I'm not saying he called me a flipper. I'm not. I actually hold a lot, but I'm willing to flip. I'm willing to explore it, right? Because here's the point, though. You're saying you only have one. I'm saying the gems represent the item. So if I have 1,000 gems, that could represent 10 items. I could buy 100 $100 items, or I could buy 5 $200 items. The gem, the buying power, the liquidity is holding, and it's been holding for the last 4 months. You can look on our podcast. Gems have held better than floors. Think about that. Anything you wanted to buy at any point, unless you got on a drop in the last 4 months, if you had just held those gems and said, I'm thinking about buying, but I'm just going to put $650 away because I was about to buy that Bard and Homer for $650, and I'm just going to wait. Everything in the last 4 months, you would have gotten cheaper now, today, to the tune that you probably could have bought it twice. And that's how whales move, or that's how people who have moved, the early OGs have moved and understand this. That's all I've stressed to you and anyone, that's just my theory on it.
Yeah, and it's tough.
It's a tough game.
It's a tough game to play like that.
It is.
Because now we're at a time where, like, all right, back then you hit a spot where it's like, if you're walking through a cemetery and it's 2 miles long, you're halfway through it, you kind of know, oh yeah, it's going to be more cemetery up ahead at this point. If you're looking ahead, you know how you're walking through this shit already. But now when you start seeing stuff, like if I'm walking through the cemetery and I start seeing, like, is that a street light? Is that a car? Like, now am I getting closer to the end? Because there's been little sparks of it that make me feel like maybe I should have this shit already in the arsenal because it's going to pump big right now. It's hard to predict that. And when you're playing that game, if you're a whale, you have more leisure too. Like, you have more leeway where it's like, yeah, I can do this. You say you have one.
He's going to feel,
but like you said,
you hit a secret rare like me.
Yeah.
I hit a secret rare Werewolf by Night. It pumped to 750. And I told Ben, I really feel like I should probably sell on this crazy pump and see what else I could get. And he said, don't be so desperate for gains. I'm like, you're right. Let me just hold. Because what could happen in the blink of an eye, that secret rare can go from 700 to $2,000. We've experienced that. But right now in the market, that just hasn't been happening. And I know it's scary to do, because the minute you start thinking that way, it could turn the other way and you could end up losing a lot of money. But when you've been fortunate enough to hit so many ultra rare, secret rare, and they have that pump, yes, you have to entertain, like, hey, dude, take some profits, because not a lot of people have profits right now. So they're desperate. People are selling things they would have pictured they would have never sold.
And it depends what game you're playing. If you have two, so if you're saying I only have one, then your goal should be to get two, so that way you can right away you can sell one and keep it. Because if you're trying to be the collector, and that's the unique part. Wait, that's that's the unique part about this whole like flipping thing, and like fools who get into this for the investment. Because if I buy a bunch of Travis Scott gear, which I've done before, or even freaking Supreme or something, right? I'm buying it to flip it. If I haven't and I'm holding on to it, fine. I'm putting it in a box, hiding in the garage, just sitting on it until I see it go up again, or it's like a couple years later, now it's vintage, some shit like that. In this space, there's a community, so then you get kind of excited like about a specific piece. Like
Yeah.
I am gonna keep this one.
Sentimental value.
Yes, exactly. So I am gonna keep it. But also, if you're trying to be like selling and pushing, then yeah, you need to have multiple or decide what you are in this. Like decide how you view it.
That's why Nickelodeon NFTs dumped 85% in one day. Wow, we have gotten a 90% correction over the course of the last half a year when we've been doing this podcast. Since we started this podcast, we've pretty much only gone down. We had a few early episodes where things were like battling, but for the most part, we've seen a major correction, but we've seen it over a long period of time. That's almost mirrored bigger markets and stuff like that. Other crypto projects and other NFT projects don't experience that. They get dumped in a second, in a heartbeat. And it just goes to show the collection that we have and the collectibles we're touching and these IPs hold very deep sentimental value.
It's hard to let go of. You believe in it already. And you believe in it already. So it's hard to let go of it. Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you've seen the benefits.
I mean, you might sell your Bitcoin before you sell your Todd or your your ultra rare Vader.
He was talking about Recurrent last week and how it pumped and how like, oh fuck, I missed it. But at the same time too, those really weren't that quality. That was my point last week. Like they're just pictures, and yeah, it is Rugrats and it's recognizable and all that, but you kind of undercut it compared to Veve, which people do with Recur. I don't do it. It's just they do it. They do it on Twitter all day, and Recur shut the fuck up from their page for a few days after that fucking shit, which I noticed. They stopped talking about it. They stopped posting screenshots of OpenSea because they were probably getting crushed. So they weren't going to show the progress. When they were going up, they were screenshotting every 10 to 20
minutes. But how many Recur drops have there been?
Posting it.
The Star Trek one?
No.
I'm asking
NFT.
How many? Like, no, just a number. How many?
I don't know, but they did
more or less
3 or 4.
3 or 4. No, so that's my point. So think about what Recur is and where they're. Yeah, but think about what Recur is and where they're at. It's like, yeah, they're gonna trial and error. They're still learning. They're still figuring it out. And when it comes to like this happened, just the same with Eye of Agamotto, right? It's all a learning process. So to put it in the same conversation as Veve is not even fair to either of the projects. So it's like that's where I get hung up when it's like people start, yeah, fuck Curtis. Like, yeah, but it's just different, bro. Like you want them to succeed. You want them to succeed to also have like more of a. You get me? Like,
but
they want to put themselves on that level.
Here's the main thing though with Recurring with Veve, the big difference, the onboarding. I have a Recur pass. I want to buy the Hello Kitty that's gonna be dropping soon, right? I seen what happened in OpenSea. Shit, I should have been on that. $50. Maybe you hit like an Angelica and salad or whatever, right? Point is, onboarding, man. Recur, even for me, and I like crypto and I mess with all this. It's a process. I gotta go and make an extra wallet. I gotta transfer it to OpenSea to Sal. I have to do this and that. You know, it's like ABCD. Veve's very, very easy. You download the app, you enter your info, and then you get it going, right? KYC is going to kind of make that actually a little harder, which we don't know how that's going to affect it. We may get bigger whales on that now are more comfortable because now you can finish that sentence. And I mean, I've told everyone since then, and this is a sentence I'm talking about. Yo, I'm on this app. I hit this item. Dope. How much is it worth? Like $1,000. Cool. So what do? You just sell it and cash out? Yeah. Now I can say and finish that sentence. Before it was like, nah, it's worth $2,000, but
no, dude, but think
about
has to sit there. Think what we said last week, like seeing the social,
argument.
The social aspect of Veve and how this app is going to evolve in time is like, all right. So when we say about having utility and getting invited to like parties, everything's like that, right? There are fucking parties, dude. And I know, sorry, Corey, if it's your favorite kind of party, bro. But there's parties where people go and put on headphones and listen to music on the headphones, just socialize like that, and just like a silent party, right?
Silent
disco, right? But my point is that for things like that to happen, like there can be a very like an exclusivity to it, to where these things are not obtainable to the average person, or you really have to want it to get it. Like, you know, like that's how far it could possibly go, to where the smallest items are still like staggering numbers compared to where they are now at the floor.
They're focusing on the premium side and on that, like that's exciting because then we're already buying into like a boutique.
You can rent. Yeah. Oh, you can rent my Vader, so you can go to this party.
One thing also as well on that level, what Cisco's talking about is like the people listing and everything. Expect listings to get wiped once KYC gets taken.
We're gonna talk about that
because they just.
But here, let me just set up. Let me just set up.
We'll see.
But they posted because I don't want to forget, and I'll forget, and I won't say it.
I haven't written down
on Twitter that they will wipe off all listings from those bot accounts on the 31st once it's over. So if they're the ones getting desperate, like I was saying earlier, those floors will rise.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. So it's on the list. It's on the list. But let's just segue real quick. I want to keep
the 31st.
So we talked about the revenge of the Eye of Agamotto. Another thing that happened this week was the Banksy fake out. There was huge community speculation that the Spidey shut the fuck up and let me finish the setup. I'm gonna cut this fool's mic off.
You need to. You might need to.
It wasn't.
Community speculation that sent Spidey on a pump, saying that the Spider-Man Comic-Con poster was actually a Banksy poster artwork hidden in plain sight. Now, if I don't know if you guys noticed, because this guy had the poster, right? Actually, I didn't hit the poster on the drop, which is I forgot to mention, but
yeah, I can get it all.
It pumped from about, I think it was 45, right? Like $45 to like 90, almost $100 real quick, which tells you the power of Twitter and the power of influencers. But that was what people were saying. The reason it pumped is because they were speculating that this could be a Banksy poster hidden in plain sight. Did you know that?
I didn't. You sent me that video. I saw it.
Did you know that?
At first, when you told me, you said,
did you guys hear about that?
But the way you texted, you said that.
Hold on.
The way you texted was you said that people are speculating that it comes with the Banksy, or like it was, like I thought you're like, what do you mean the airdrop or having that or something? I was like confused, and then I saw the video you sent, and then the guy went into a little bit more details about it. I was just like, yeah, for sure reaching, but I was just like, how close is it? Like, let me see. So, let me see how much can I reach it?
Straight up, the first day that shit was going around, Alex shut it down, and he was like, this was honestly the stupidest speculation ever on Veve for any drop. He's like, I won't entertain it. It's not Banksy. It's Marvel. You shouldn't even have thought that far. The dude who put the video out, which is, I believe it was Veve Vault.
Oh, that's why Twitter shitted on him.
He straight up said like this was a super reach. You shouldn't be saying this. And like when Banksy drops, look, hold on. To defend Veve Vault, he only was saying the shit that he heard. He was kind of just like wrapping it up for the people.
Yeah,
he
wasn't
the one
pointing it out, saying
everyone that. Ran with it. That's what I'm saying. Like he didn't call.
Well, he made a good video.
He didn't call Veve Vault out by name.
No, Veve Vault's very popular.
Yeah, he made a good
video.
you
know what?
But he straight up
Veve Vault, and he's slick because he's all Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was pumping, and Vivi's like, Veve Vault's like, yo, to 200. Then I see him listed at 172 or 175, and I was like, yep.
He showed me.
I was like, that fool's selling. That's the time that you know it's going down.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I won't, because, and the only reason I'm gonna keep saying it, for all you dudes who need the support, who need to hear it from someone, where you got a flipper right here to my left, and he will flip and take gains and all that, is MCP is looming. It's around the corner. And like I said, I will say it every week. I'm waiting for it. Who knows what it brings? I don't know what it brings. But the way he just did that shit, imagine I'm getting drops that he isn't because he didn't have enough points. And imagine I'm in the loop for those points.
Right.
If I'm in that circle,
no, that's good. And honestly, we can do a talk next week about MCP as it comes along. I haven't forgot about MCP. I like to think I've kept sets just in reach.
But I'll say this,
I bought certain stuff where I'm like,
could be
I just
totally
need one
wrong.
or two to finish.
I
So
could be totally wrong, and he could be totally right.
No.
Like literally, the MCP could not pay out. Like, oh, they're giving you just this. Like,
no, I'm not betting against MCP. No, all I'm saying is. All I'm saying to you is you should have been flipping a couple of these items because of the nature of the market. That's all.
Maybe it pays off. That's what
but whatever.
There's no guarantee it pays off for me. I could be.
Maybe that's why he gets all the drops, because Veve loves them, because he never sells. And my ass sells.
No, but you know what? Maybe you're looking at me like, dude, MCP didn't give you shit, and you could have took all these.
Dude, I'm getting great MCP too. I have plenty of ultra rares.
You would be up 6,000 gems right now.
I have 6 sets. That's not like I have nothing.
No, I'm just saying though.
You got 14.
Completely wrong. I could be completely wrong, and I'm open to that, and I'm risking it. I'm not flipping because of that. I've almost flipped shit because there's even the stamp that I got for 6 gems that's still over 100 gems. I could floor it. I have a triple digit on those president stamps. I could floor it at 100 gems and get it. I could. I flirt with it a lot because I don't have the money to put in. So I do flirt with it, but then I'm like, nah, what if MCP really is worth it?
So whatever the strategy may be
but
for MCP,
I
we'll
just gotta throw that
we'll
out
definitely
there,
cover
though.
MCP
I'll say
as it
every
comes
week.
along.
I'll say it every week.
And I hope you guys are completing sets. It has been something I'm looking at as well. And for a while, a lot of YouTubers were talking about sets, but then once we found out we weren't getting MCP anytime soon, it kind of got put to the back burner. But we are getting it this quarter, and we will take Veve at their word because they delivered on everything else that was much harder this quarter. So you would imagine now they can do some of the fun stuff, such as comics and showroom, and you know, the MCP and bringing back transfers and everything else. We're gonna get all that.
Yeah, and even
Anyway.
being on the flipper side and all that, whether you're stacking MCP or you're stacking other stuff to sell later to get more gems, like how Mick said, the gems represent collectibles. So if I do have 9 amazing Spider-Man #1s, which I do now, then that is gonna flip. I could flip that later to pick up something so I can complete this set that I'm only missing one item from. You know, so it's like, although I don't have it now, I will get it. I get you're accumulating.
Because let's just say this. This is my point, and I'm gonna try to, like, you know, do a little, but there's a switch, right? There comes a point, and we're not there yet. We were there for a second. We're on the opposite end, but there comes a point where, you know, the money you have, you're holding. If you have $100 in your pocket, you see these collectibles, they keep going up. And you know, if I had bought that collectible with this $100 on Monday, my $100 would be worth $150, $160. There's gonna come a time and place for that. And that's the time to hold, that's the time to buy, and or hold what you got and sell at the top then, then there's the opposite, right? And where we've been in. Actually, right now has been better because if you buy something, maybe it goes down a little, but not too much. But let's say back in February, March, although it was enticing, that wasn't the time to buy. If anything you bought then is down.
If you bought aftermarket, if you hit on the drop, you hit on the drop. But
but no one was hitting on drops. I mean, even the food. Anyway, that's the point. I think we're still in a time right now where you're safer to buy. I would actually tell people, go ahead. Like if I was meeting someone right now, or even like I had a friend who was in a Veve, and they know that I've been doing the show, and they're like, hey, bro, I haven't been buying anything. I've been broke. Do you think it's a good time to buy? I would be like, yeah, dude, like, you can't get any worse. I'll tell you that much. You can only get better from here. Maybe we go down a little bit more on certain stuff. Yeah, but it's not going to kill you. You're not going to go through the pain that we have on a lot of these buys. And dude, when I look at my Sue Storm buys, bro, I bought a couple of Sue Storm commons, 3-digit for $120 plus. I have like 2 of them. And I'm like looking, she's worth $8 now, dude.
8 gems.
And that's literally my worst.
So buy 4
I'm
more.
like down like
all you can do is buy 4.
Buy
Buy 4 more, dude. Just might as well.
But at the time, I was new. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have any collection. I thought this was a new chick on the block. This is the cheapest thing. I can't buy a Spider-Man. I'm gonna buy this shit for 120, right? There'll come that point where people are rationalizing that way. Like, yo, I gotta get that. We're not there yet. You know what I mean? And I hope when we are there, you have the conviction to hold.
I bought the mini lenticular at 105 when it was like dropping low. It was flirting with 95 to 110. I was like, damn, fine.
And now
getting it, and now it's like 55 or 58.
I can't even hold 50.
No, so that's my point. So it's like, damn, like I might as well just get 2 more over then. And if I believed in it right there to buy it, is like I remember when I bought it, I was like, this is my last. This is my last.
If it looked good at 100, it's gonna look great at 50.
Exactly,
right?
That's the point.
So anyway, moving on now, because I do want to stay on the subjects this week. The 4th subject is something we've talked about already, but obviously it's looming. We're only a few days away, is the final step of KYC. So here's what's going to happen, as Ben had mentioned, and Veve has confirmed it. Accounts that don't get KYC'd will pretty much be immediately delisted. So you won't be able to have your shit up there for a month and then the gems are in there, yada, yada. No, if you don't KYC, you cannot sell and you get delisted. What is going to happen? I'm sure I don't know. But I know you guys have your theories. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to have this huge delisting that runs up the floor, and we have now new renowned faith in Veve to know these are true floors and not just bots, and people keep buying? Or let me paint the second scenario, which honestly I think is more likely to happen. We get this delisting. Floors rise. People see their portfolios go up. People see items at new prices they haven't seen in so long. What do you think happens? They list. New people haven't touched the app in months. Say, whoa, this thing's up. Let me list. And all we get is the same prices, just probably like a spike. And over a course of like a month, we end up in the same prices with the same listings, just with no bots. That's honestly what I think. That's option two. But option one, they delist and we go to the moon.
I'll give you the analogy of it, or the metaphor of it. I think it's gonna be like a fucking bomb being dropped on Veve. Boom, atomic bomb. Everyone's hiding in the ashes, and there's gonna be certain people, whales, and other people who have been here before, who are Book of Eli status, are equipped to survive in this scenario, and understand what they're gonna do with whatever's presented. We're gonna see whatever's painted to us. However, if everything is listed and it stays there for a while, it's kind of like no man's land, and then you're like waiting. But as soon as people start jumping in the water and showing, hey, yeah, it's good, guys, get in. Like you said, people will jump in, but I don't know what that time frame is from then to then. Depends on what drops they give us right after, because that'll make people more eager to like kind of get more active again, and also how many people get delisted on accident or saying that on Twitter, or pumping that part up where it's like, I can't even get in my account. I did nothing wrong, Veve. You're wrong for this. Like, like trouble KYC, yeah, any of it. So it's like, yeah, so I see it being like people are gonna have to feel it out for a little bit, but I don't see it being like an instant, like boom, this happened, now this happened. Like,
here's
I
like
don't know about that.
Let's just say Vader, right? Let's just say Vader. Vader's at, let's just say the common, just arbitrary, as at $100, right? There's 600 listings. They delist all the bots. Now all of a sudden, let's just say there's half the listings. Vader floor goes from 100 to $200. No one wanted to buy it at the 100. 110, 115, 120, 130, 140, 150. All those bots weren't getting bought. They were just sitting there. So why is the price going up to 200 suddenly going to make people buy it? They're not. And if the floor does get listed, someone's going to think, who's holding a Vader, oh, wow, $200. Let me list it at 190. Okay. No one to buy it.
My turn.
I'll list it at 185. No one to buy it. I'll list it at 150.
That's why
no one to buy it.
No,
and it goes right back to the price that the market determined it. It doesn't matter who sells it.
You don't know who's
if the market doesn't want it at a price, the market will not buy it.
That's what I'm saying. My prediction is they get desperate. And
Mic drop.
Those final hours listing, like leading up to them not being able to sell, I figure they get really desperate, just get those gems in their fucking account so they could cash them out. So this being those last few days, I think it's gonna go down gradually.
Ronnie has a great point.
Slowly and gradually. And I think on that final day, on Sunday, that they get desperate, and it's not gonna be at the price people ain't willing to buy at. They're gonna put it to a price that they know for sure by undercutting the
the mad.
But I'm talking about the day after.
We're talking about the aftermath.
No, that's why. So look. But you were saying those shits are gonna get delisted and then it's gonna shoot up.
Even Randy Chavez today was like, "Hey,
whatever
so
doesn't
many
sell, whatever doesn't sell,
and there's so many new new users, right?
That's what I'm saying. I feel
then,
like they're gonna
then we're gonna have a fucking supply shock. I'm like, how? When there's so many additions and there's new people willing to sell as the price goes up. When the switch flips and people realize, yo, I shouldn't sell this because it keeps going up. That's when listings will truly be down. And we will have that true supply shock, and we have 100,000, 500,000 new users, but yet there's only 15 Amazing Spider-Man #1s on the market. But we got 500,000 new users who are all into crypto and NFTs now. They came out of nowhere, just like it happened last time, and they're bullying in, they're aping in because they're hearing about all the money people are making, and they only see 10 listings or whatever it is on these items. Yeah, that's when, okay, the prices can go absolutely bonkers, right? But until then, like, we're still moving through this wash and repeat cycle. You know what I mean?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
But look what Ronnie said. Not sure the bots are always a problem. Seen it with the Tesseract. People knew exactly what they were getting, and they still listed below retail. It's so true.
But also, how many so if you think about how many bot accounts there are, right? And how many people, let's just say not many bot accounts, but how many people who are running bots, like, like actually doing it. I would imagine that they do have their own account as well, or like an account that's not a bot account, so they could be the one who's like commenting, saying shit like, yeah, you're right, or like like being a part of the whole fuck, because you have to be in the ecosystem to manage that, because that's pretty much their job. That's their hustle. They're hustling all day on that. They're not going to work. They're like, nope, I got.
Or what if I do bots and they're like, hey, bro, I'm gonna just start selling you my shit.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm
no,
a,
so
I'm a
saying,
list right
so
now
I think,
at 4 in
so
the
I
morning
think
when
that
no one's
those
up,
accounts
and I'm a
will
list
still
$2
exist too.
above fucking above floor, and then you just buy them all up.
No, but that's
fucking
too. I'm saying to
It's
Ronnie's
still-
point.
it's
No, but I'm
still
saying
a
to Ronnie's
risk.
point about people putting them for less. It's like
Still a
those
risk.
those can also be owned by fools who run bots. Like they're just have it more realistic. They have an actual name and they put a picture.
or
you know, like
or Ronnie like to say like, or it could just be someone who hasn't been doing what we've been doing every day or every week, someone who's brand new. What would we have done if we were brand new to the app? Comic-Con downloaded it, we buy it for $30, we see other prices, we see Eye of Agamotto at 70, 80, and we're thinking, hey, this should be worth that, and then it just stays the same. And
when
we're
they
like,
value a low mint, they didn't get a good mint. They're just like, you know what, I don't
I'll
care.
just floor it.
Just
Like
get
I'm
rid of
not.
it.
I'd rather just have the $27 to go for something I'm really interested in. Maybe they're just not really interested in the test ride, even though they like it. Like it's cool. I'm in a Marvel, but I'd much rather have a, let's just say, a Black Panther, or like something they're waiting for Hulk or for Iron
Or they
Man.
didn't know
right?
they could check out the collectible before they bought it. They're like, oh, I don't really like it. It's just square. What is this? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna sell it back. They don't have no idea about it. They're just barely trying to be in the mix with it.
Because yeah, man, to just blame only bots for these low listings, hell no. When bots were in control, things were worth a lot more because bots didn't list for so low. When bots were running the show, all those lenticulars were worth a G. You know
So
what
let's
I
say,
mean?
so 2 years from
Like,
now, hey, so
if you hit, you were happy.
Vic, so let's just say, like, let's say 3 years from now, right? Vive's doing good. And he's like, what is the lowest cost for? What is the cheapest cost for any NFT or comic? Give me like, what would be the cheapest item on Veve, the entire app? What would that level be? Whether it's a comic or like a cheap.
I think
but if you say
as-
comics, what do you think? $7?
As NFTs and comics keep getting dropped, you're gonna have more room for super low lows.
Yeah. So
$1, $2.
So there will still
we'll
be-
have a dollar bin for sure. Because
all right.
like we get Amazing Fantasy 15, we get Hulk #1, we get X-Men #1, we get Captain America #1. Where's that gonna leave some of these random ass comics that
I hear
Veve
you,
drop?
yeah.
Like, and people were really only going for them for a chance at secret rare. Really, when you really think about it, who's really saying, hey, I can't wait to read fucking annual X-Men #4 where it had nothing
Hey,
interesting
but it's
going
exact.
on.
No, but it's the exact same comic book besides the cover,
perfect
right?
Because he's that popular.
And let's talk
And
about
it's like
Gambit.
you can teeter totter.
Dude, this is the FA of Gambit, but this is like the fourth time Gambit's been on Veve already, right? On the covers, isn't it? Like probably like the fourth time he comes on the cover.
But this
They
is his first
no,
I
but either
think-
way, but like
I
there's that
think,
secret rare or
unfortunately,
ultra rare of him and
Gambit
Rogue.
will probably hold like $10 floor, if that. If not, he's going to like floor.
But do you
Like
think?
listing price $7.
But do you think that
comic.
means that there's an announcement coming with it?
If you hit secret rare, you're
Do you think there's an announcement coming? We're getting a lot of
Yeah,
X-Men.
his secret rare will still be worth good
Anyone-
money. Like
It looks dope
because he's a popular.
No, but have you
popular,
seen it? It looks dope.
Yeah,
But
man.
it's because Boba Fett. Like there's no way the common, the
So,
uncommon pump.
Gambit secret rare
certain
under
point.
$100 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Pick it up.
No,
sure.
is a pickup.
Not
like
financial advice.
not
For
financial,
sure.
but
Forget
like
that
that.
shit.
Like we've been in the game long enough to know
Yeah.
if it drops anywhere
I don't
under
think it
100,
won't go
80,
100
90,
I
100,
think it will.
110. That comic is easily the secret rare. Easily a 250. I would say 199 to 250 floor easy. Anything under 199, it's undervalued.
Yeah, I agree.
Straight up. There's no way that shit should be less than some of these other FAs that just these characters have never even been in a video game, never been on a t-shirt, nothing. Never
And then
been
X-Men
portrayed.
97 they announced.
They
You know, like,
never.
There's
Gambit's
been a
hella
lot of
popular.
X-Men.
So yeah, if you
X-Men
could pick
stuff.
up one tomorrow, shit.
Gambit might
that
be in the
floor
new
is gonna
Deadpool.
rise.
Gambit might
pick
be
up
in
a
the new
secret rare.
Deadpool for all we know.
But because of
And he was in
Boba
that
Fett,
Wolverine movie.
basically the
Origins.
whole market
Mhm.
is under Boba Fett check. You got checked by Boba Fett. Even though it adds into the same week as KYC, it doesn't matter. Boba Fett was gonna fuck the market up regardless.
So,
when it
so
dropped,
you
it was
actually
gonna-
led us
it was
into the
gonna-
final point, Ben. You
it was
must have
gonna crash
ESPN
it.
or something.
ESP is what he means.
The
you on the
hold on.
ESPN.
Yeah.
The perfect storm is happening right now in the market. And it was already happening last week when we had Comic-Con on the horizon. We had Sleeping Comics talk about it. He said, because we have KYC looming, obviously bots need to sell. We have Comic-Con with big drops looming. People are going to list. We created a squeeze, right? Plus just the overall macroeconomic shit going on in the world. Everyone's pretty broke. We now have that again. This weekend, it's always that initial announcement. When Boba Fett first got announced, people undercut themselves hella. And then you have people who buy that. Then you have like a little like slowly undercutting. Fools go $1, $2. Then you have the day before the drop. That Friday night or that Saturday morning before Boba Fett drops, you will see people undercut the hell out of that floor, especially to an item that's around 100. And say if the listing price for Boba is 80, you will see the listing price pull items to its floor. You know what I mean? So if you have something that's kind of around 91, 95, Boba Fett's 80. It's going to suck that motherfucker down to like 89, 87 because it's going to pull it down to what the listing price is so someone can go and compete in that drop. So keep that in mind. These are just things I've picked up on. We've seen it happen before, and it's creating the perfect storm. So what's so crazy is what Veve does. Makes you make your choices. You can either right now take all your gems and all your side money and buy shit you've always wanted. Because truth be told, this is pretty much as cheap as it's ever been. Not as cheap as it's gonna get, but it's as cheap as it's ever been.
Cheap is where you don't have to be mad about the purchase you made.
1.7 earlier.
And you don't have to be mad about the purchase
and I do believe Vader will probably hit 1.7 or 1.5, the ultra rare, because Boba Fett is going to take some of that market cap from Vader as people want to have both. So there's people with multiple. Now's the time to let one off.
And or they see their opportunities to stack Boba Fett rather than stack Vader. Like I could stack way more if I had these. And it gives you a trajectory.
OG sold Vader ultra rare. We saw Randy Chavez do it for $700, thinking it wouldn't go any higher. Yep. So now if someone else is on, if big money's on the side going, $700 on a Boba Fett is a good bet, because more than likely it's going to break a G. We've seen Vader break a G. That's pretty much been it, right? Like ultra rare Vader just set a new. It's like, hey, yeah, we're on the bottom, but when people really want shit, they're willing to pay top dollar in such a tough market. 2 G's today is like 20 G's in January. So if Boba Fett even does a G, it's a pretty good bet that ultra rare or secret rare, whatever they drop, the animated one, because we'll probably get one, it's going to break over a G. It'll probably hit close to Vader levels, if not surpass it in the short term.
But will he fly on his jetpack or will he shoot his gun?
Well, that's the
I think he'll pull up like the quick draw
and shoot.
That's the shit we're waiting for to see. Like if the animation is dope.
Or what if he does this and does the flame one?
Like, who knows?
Oh, that'd be
or
dope
shoots
too.
the rocket. People go nuts.
I'm telling you, all I know is Boba Fett's huge.
So
that shit's gonna squeeze the whole market.
That's all we got for you guys, man.
Coupled in with KYC, last remarks. Just keep an eye out for Sunday because that's the 31st. You might see the market dip even more than Boba Fett, like right before that drop, only because the fact that these people won't be able to get their shit off.
All right, and if we do get Amazing Fantasy 15, just remember.
What's the min size? What do you guys think the min size is going to be?
60K makes sense because
for
60
Amazing
years?
Fantasy.
Because it's 60-year anniversary,
15.
right?
Real quick, I got that question.
Is it the 60?
No, while MC number 1 got 60 and ASM number 1 got 60.
No, yeah, that was years
ago. But no, that was like a year and a half ago.
I think it's 30. I think it's 30K.
I think it's too important of a comic to be that low.
Because why did they start the 20K drops?
To create value.
Why did they lower them?
You don't have to create value with this one. That's why they make the common polls the best polls most of the time.
I think they did 20 because it makes sense with how many people are going for drops.
But I mean, either way, look. Remember if it does drop,
FA 30,000.
If it does drop on Monday, know that. What's the reasonable floor, Mick? That you said, like if it's not, you pull the trigger as many times as you can. If you're sniping, what is that number? That's like, yeah, I don't care if it's at 60. For the comment, what is it at comment? It's like, yeah, just buy it because it's gonna be worth it.
No,
I don't think it dips down again. I think it becomes one of those that stays, that holds like a decent floor, and then when everything else rises, it really, really shoots off.
I don't think there's anything on the app that doesn't ever go down below shit just because we've seen gem squeeze.
Amazing Fantasy 15 will. I think it'll be whatever people price it the lowest. So if they start at 40, 50, 60, that's going to the beginning will determine ultimately where it ends up. But I think even a crazy mind who just hit that one is probably listing at the cheapest to like 30 to 50, right? Those early ass fools, and they just get bought up.
Yeah.
Then it'll go to 50 and that'll get bought up. Because if I see one at 50,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm fucking buying.
That's what I'm saying.
Then it'll kind of get into that 70, 80, 100. And I can't pretend like I know.
What,
and I'm talking about common. This is just common.
Yeah, common. So are you trying to look at secret rare for that one? And if you see one for 200 or 300 listed,
I don't think you do. I don't think you do at all. I think that's very, very wishful thinking.
I think you have $1,000 to $1,200 for that secret rare, and you pray someone list it for under a G. But why would anyone list a secret rare when MC number 1 is what? Where's it at? 8 Gs right now? 5 Gs? 6 Gs? In
case you guys haven't noticed, people are idiots.
ASM number 1 is still holding like what? I mean, we could look it up right now real quick.
Idiots.
There's no way not in no way, but if you see Amazing Fantasy number 15 for under 1,000 for a secret rare, yeah, I would think that's almost a must buy if you got the money.
If you got it, you pulled it.
And if you're big money, that's a must buy for sure, right?
That's an easy car right there.
That's an easy come up.
I think that's the reason why we get more additions. Because even back then, so if you're saying why would they drop 60K if it's going based off of how many people are going for drops? Like, well, there wasn't even 5K people going for drops back when they dropped 60K. So it's like, why would they drop 60K? But it could be
they needed that money too.
Yeah, but it's just sitting there.
They don't really need that money right now.
But did they know that the guys who were there were going to buy them up and eventually sell it out?
No, but plus relative to NFTs, a lot of NFT projects, when they were dropping things, were up in the higher region. The new booties always drop high shit. That's why you had the back cow go with 200,000 mints.
I think that's one of them that's going to be either it's going to be 60 or it's going to be 10. It's going to be savage, like even more scarce, but not 20. I see it, like I see it on an extreme level. I can't see it flirting with the middle. Not for that drop.
Let me see.
But the real gem is Amazing Spider-Man number 1.
Let's just see.
Let me know when you need
Marvel Comics number 1 secret rare still right now in the bear market is sitting at 17.4K for one. If you think I don't think Amazing Fantasy number 15 will dethrone Marvel Comics number 1. I don't. It has a chance though. It's going to be a close second. Because as of now, the only ones that come close to MC number 1 are Fantastic Four number 1 and ASM number 1. Unfortunately, I do think ASM number 1 takes a big hit off of this just because it's going to take market cap the same way Boba Fett's going to take from Vader because they're in the same world.
And I'm just going to get more of them.
No,
I'm going to get to my 20.
We could see,
20 by the end of the year.
We could see Amazing Spider-Man, especially if AF15 has less additions, which it probably will. You're going to see Amazing Spider-Man people sell to get that other one, right? Like, here's the OG one. This isn't even...
that's just the first appearance. It's like you can't have that one without the other.
No, it's true. It's true.
You know, if there's that'll be the peanut butter Swiss jelly. Like, they're going to be like, if you have that one up there...
If there's 30,000 additions, then that means I better sell 2 to get 1. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I got to let go of 1 to get... I got to let go of 2 to get 1 if I have multiples just because I really need this one and there's less of them to go around. So it could kind of drive things. But yeah, man, I mean... We'll see if you can land a secret rare AF15. It just goes to show secret rares perform really well. And that'll pretty much be
they drop this
the grail, dude. I think 10 grand might be the floor for that fucker, dude. For 10 grand might be the secret rare floor. Anyone who got a brain, you get it, list that 10 grand and see who's down to buy it. But if you list under that, I mean, even if you list that 2-3 grand, it'll probably get bought up.
I think there'll be enough community posts and people talking about it after drop that like people will know. If they do the slightest research, they'll know. Oh no, don't even fuck around with this one. But I hope that idiot who posted for $1.
Even the Mighty Marvel did crazy. Ghost Hunter Spider-Man, Zombie Hunter Spider-Man does crazy. Even right now, it's ultra rare, is barely under $200. Like people love Spider-Man. Number 1 superhero in the world right now. You know, today he's the most popular superhero. He beats Batman, he beats Superman, he beats everyone. He's number 1, and going into the future probably stay that way, right? I just think you can't overestimate or overstate how big that comic is and how much of a defining moment that will be for Veve again. You will look back and say, you know what I mean? Like MC number 1, you'll say the golden moments, right? You'll go back and they'll have this certain points, these certain, high marks on Veve. that you were either a part of or you won't. You won't. You know, you weren't. Vader's one of them too. Hey, you were there for Vader. Hey man, you got lucky. You know, you went for the job. You're able to get an ultra rare. If not, you need 1,700 in your pocket right now to even, you know, hold one in your wallet. So it'll be the same thing for AF-15, man. It'll be a moment. The whole world will turn and look because it's just one of those special comics and one of those special moments, even for someone to give that IP for the whole comic. It's not like you're just getting a slab or something. No, you're getting the entire readable comic that you get to keep. That's it. We're only making this many amounts. That's it. You know, and Veve and Marvel doing that partnership with Veve reinforces the fact that Veve is their guy. And the things that Veve has said, Marvel's pretty much backing him up. Like, yo, bro, nah, this is the only place you get them. You want our comics? We're not going to be on Quid next week. We're not going to be on freaking Recur tomorrow. No, these fools got our comics. This is the only place you can get them. There's subscriptions to be able to read comics online like a Netflix. Imagine that. There's fools right now paying monthly right now to read comics like Netflix, right? And that service from Marvel probably does killer, right? Veve trumps that, and you gotta own it. You own it. It's yours.
Yeah.
Show it off, and pretty soon, in the not too distant future, probably not tomorrow, but soon in the future, you'll be able to move it wherever you want and give it to someone. Give it to your kids. Give it to that the same way. Hey, I wasn't around in the 1960s to get this press, but I waited 60 years, and I was one of the only 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 fools to get one of these.
When we're doing episode 300, we have all our slabs on the wall behind us in the metaverse, and we're just right here in this virtual world slapping each other with virtual tortillas and shit. You're going to see where all that utility comes in, where it comes like, you guys got that way back then? Like, yep. We talked about on episode 25, baby.
Yep. But yeah, man, that pretty much does it for us. Another great episode. Shouts out to Corey Hooper. Shouts out to Ronnie87, you know, for commenting. And honestly, shouts out to Ernie in the spot right here. And to everyone who's been rocking with us almost half a year. Next week is our half a year celebration. We will do something special. We're gonna light up mad joints. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna promote hella hard and get a bunch of viewers in here. And yeah, man.
We'll see about getting you on, Corey. We'll try to figure out a way to
this is a big weekend, man. This ends up being, as we love about Veve, we always talk about it. They drop bombs out of nowhere. Yeah. No one saw Boba Fett coming. Nobody, not one fucking person was saying, "Oh yeah, next week we get it." Hell no. And now, boom, slap you in the face.
Somebody tells me we're getting Yoda next week for sure. Guaranteed written stars.
And honestly, by the time we might see you, we will have Boba Fett and we might have AF-15. So
shut the fuck up for a while to say this.
Thank God.
But I just want to say,
no more Dodger games for the podcast.
Be careful with whatever influencers you're listening to. We don't influence shit. We don't try to pump our bags. We don't mean to. We ride the waves. We go with the flow of what Veve's showing us, and we just talk about that shit. We comment on it. But be careful these last few days before KYC goes into effect fully.
They will pump their bags, maybe.
Boba Fett. Don't fall into any traps of anything pumping because nothing's safe. There's absolutely nothing safe. You could see shit just tank in these next few days because you don't know what's going to happen. That's my last thoughts on it. That's what I feel. I would wait till Sunday. It's not financial advice. That's what I'm going to do. That's my strategy, is just wait, see the listings drop, and then go after them. If you see listings pump, which was one thing I kept forgetting to say, with Silver Surfer, it was crazy because the floor was going lower, but the fucking listings were going lower. So I was right there like, what the fuck? This is dropping by the hundreds. It's dropping by 50 listings. But the floor is dropping at the same time. I was just like, holy shit.
You can't trust listings, dude, because
like, dude, it was crazy. But
as listings go lower, even prices, when new prices get reached, there's new people willing to sell at that price. And when new floors get lowered, there's new people who panic and sell. So there's fools who said, no, I'm not going to sell Silver Surfer at 170, but they're selling them right now at $195 because they want their Boba Fett or they want something else. So never underestimate, you know, the fear or the things that are going through other people's minds. Don't let them affect you. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, and I heard something today, right? Because Ethereum pumped recently, and there are people who didn't want to touch Ethereum at $1,000. And I know some dude I follow him on IG. I don't know him personally, but I follow him on IG. He loaded up. He bought like 20 Ethereum at a G, fucking went up to like 1700. So he was posting about this money he made. And, you know, one of the things he said is like, price doesn't always, you know, reflect the value. You know, we've talked about that. If you go look at a house and it's worth, you know, 750,000, and then a month later, the market's fucking up and now it's worth 300, 400 grand. A lot of people won't touch that. Even though they wanted it at 700, they won't touch it. But he's like, hey man, it's still got the same amount of beds, still got the same amount of front doors, same amount of windows. The roof is on. Like nothing's changed with what you thought and what you wanted with it. Only the price has changed. And so you have to have the conviction of what you're going for and what you want. And that's one of the beautiful things about the point we find ourselves in this market. People are really going for what they want at this point because every dollar counts. Like I said, $1,000 now is like 10 G's.
I once spent 300 gems on Amazing Spider-Man #1, and today I just got one for 35 gems.
35. How crazy is that? You know what I mean? 80% cheaper, right? So yeah, man, it's a beautiful time to be in this app. Once things turn around, we will actually have some cool stuff to say. The frustration has been real, but Veve has delivered, and it's been another great week, man. So thank you guys for rocking with us once again.
Thank you, Corey.
Shout out to you guys.
Shouts out Corey,
Shout out
Ronnie,
Corey,
everyone in
Ronnie.
the chat, man. You know,
Catch you guys
we do
next
this for
week.
you guys, bro, for real. And we will see you guys next week. Half a year celebration. We will be here.
Peace.
See you guys. Peace.
So can I talk now? Can I talk now?
Go ahead.